Oops.
Oh, I think we're live, actually.
Hey.
Oh, really?
Hey, peeps.
All right.
Swanson is running late, so we didn't know we were live. Sorry.
Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 159. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I'd like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and we want you to be on it. For $3.99, you can be part of that app, and what you will get with that $3.99 is access to Valerie Hunt, the greatest endurance trainer in the world, and she will be delivering to your calendar every week 3 bodyweight exercises, 4 barbell strength exercises, and 4 daily WODs. For $9.99 a month, you can have access to all the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. Everything from 5K programs to 100-mile programs to Spartan races to triathlons. The goal of Lift Heavy Run Long is to bring fitness to as many people as possible, as inexpensively as possible. So if you or someone you know does not have access to $3.99 a month and you think that fitness will enhance the quality of your life or their life, please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. We'll be more than happy to add you to the app free of charge. I have, sitting next to my right, my friend, my confidant.
I'm here.
Not just next to your right, but also to your right.
Next, on my right.
Next to
And on.
left. It could be left, depending on
Which direction
how many
we're
lefts?
going.
It's 3 rights.
We're gonna go
So
counter.
3 lefts or a right.
Counterclockwise. The Reverend Von Rawls.
I'm here. We went live early again.
Yeah, but by
We
the
did.
way, at the point that I logged into the live feed, Vaughn and I were standing on there waiting for you to come around for the camera.
What you guys, I don't even remember what we were saying, but I hope I didn't say anything ridiculous.
And your Jack and Tan is watching live, and she was trying to warn us in case we didn't know.
Uh-huh.
She's letting us know she's watching. So, hey, girl.
Clearly, we don't have the best looking woman on the podcast. Amanda, she's off on vacation.
Well,
Why did we just drop to 3 viewers?
Well, what do you do? I'm confused now because I wanted to talk to people, and now I can't. You can't talk to people because the feed is behind what I'm saying right now.
Always.
Like I'm looking at it.
So this is your first time watching the live feed. Welcome to the party.
You can't do that, though, because like myself, you're not allowed. You can't do 2 things at one time like that.
You're not a multitasker. when it
You'll
comes
either
to
be
this.
there, but you won't be here, or you'll be
Right.
here and you can't be there.
Okay.
So that's up to
That's me.
Amanda can do that, and Thirsty can do that. That's just the rules, man. I don't make them.
I'm just trying to engage with our audience.
I just, well, that's Thirsty's job. He's got to do a good job of that.
Okay,
Speaking
man.
of
Okay.
Thirsty,
That's why I get paid the
that
big
is
bucks.
Thirsty. Brian Swanson, the best looking cameraman in the business, with both of his computer screens up and ready to go.
I am getting up and ready to go.
What's new in your world?
Not a damn thing.
Yeah.
I showed up to CrossFit again this week.
Yes, you did.
I saw you and the bro sesh that you had going on.
Yes, sir.
It was pretty hot and tempting.
He's got a
but
serious bro sesh going on. Like no kidding.
That I do.
Get the bro on.
But
Get your
I
bro
did
ass
not
up
feel
there and
like-
come join us. Anyway.
Well, no. I feel like I was welcome. I didn't feel like I was on that level.
Yeah.
Let me just say it that way.
People are watching. They're going to come over. It just takes
They
time.
better.
And we're going to build it up, and it's going to be great. I'm
Well, you
excited.
guys worked out for like 2 hours the other day.
You
Well, it's
know,
different than CrossFit.
Hey, can I just say, in all seriousness, that Lynn's been trying, as far as I know, for a couple years now to come up with a weightlifting club name. It needs to be the Olive Branch Red Devils.
It needs to be Gator Iron.
Gator Iron.
Gator Iron.
We talked
Yep.
about this while you weren't here, and so now we know you don't listen to the podcast either.
Gator Iron was last week, but thanks for playing. And I was here.
So I thought I would catch you in the
And people need to come do it.
Because it's something.
get.
Red is the last word. Get is the first word, and red is the last word.
Get at me, Red. Get
after their asses.
Get
red.
after their
Get her
ass.
after their ass. Oh, yeah, it's GATAR. That's what threw me off.
Yep.
Get after their asses red.
We'll build it. It just takes time. That's not something that a bunch of people are just going to rush into.
If you build it,
Yep.
they will come.
We just got to keep showing up and showing out. And, 2 hours really goes by so fast because it's nothing like CrossFit. There's never a time where it's like,
Right.
that bad.
Right.
But it does get pretty bad. I mean, you can do a set of 6 and really feel like that you're going to tip over.
It just takes a while to get all the work done because you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and a lot of talking to do about the work that you just did.
Right.
And that's why they call it a bro session.
Right.
And I enjoy, Ernest's company as much as anybody. So
Seemed like a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
Didn't get a chance to talk to him very much, but I enjoyed the few minutes that I did.
Super down to earth, super self-aware, and super duper strong. In case you didn't
He looked like it.
know that already. Can I tell you how much I miss my wife? It's sad for me
I
not
want
to
you to tell
have.
her how much you miss your
She
wife.
knows.
She's listening to you right now,
She's
although they're behind about like a minute behind. But she will hear it in like a minute. You could say something and she'll hear it in like a minute.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the same enthusiasm without her. I thought when she left, I was going to be like, that feeling of being home by yourself. And you're kind of like, oh, yeah, like the house is mine. I'm going to do whatever I want.
You had your Kevin Arnold moment for Kevin Arnold? No, that's the wrong show.
Kevin McAllister.
Kevin McAllister, thank you.
Nice work, guys. Yeah, my Kevin moment. And then she leaves, and I'm like, well, I can do what I want anyway. Like, I don't have
I don't need her permission.
Well, it's just not like a burden. Like, we just have a good time, and I don't, I feel like I should be doing something wrong, but,
Have you been working extra hard?
No. I mean, I go to work, and then I get on the computer. I just stay on the computer all the time. All the time.
But
as much as possible.
That's a fun kind of work for you.
Oh, yeah. It's not work at all. It's what I want to do.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time. Until like 9, then I have to go sleep.
I enjoy our daily conversations about programming.
Dude, I do too. I love it. I love this whole world that I've walked into. There's just so much space. And I was telling Vaughn earlier, I was like, you wouldn't believe the amount of time that I spend doing the most trivial things on the computer. And then I get done and I'm like, was that it? Like, is that what I was missing this whole time? Certainly that one thing couldn't have cost me the last 9 hours of my life.
If this becomes your career, welcome to the next 30 years of your life.
Is that it? No matter what level you get to.
Like, I don't want to say it's all that. Like, there are definitely bigger moments the further you get into it. But I told you guys, like, a couple weeks ago, like, or maybe even last week, like, I fought a problem for 2+ hours where I was like, why isn't this working? It's giving me this error. And I'm like, the computer's being stupid because that error doesn't make sense because here's the thing that it's saying that it can't find. And then it was like literally like one word that I forgot to type into the code. And as soon as I typed that word in, the computer's like, oh, I can find it now. And I'm like, son of a...
I feel like there's different things you can get into, like you're really good at some things and other things you're not so good at, but you still enjoy doing them.
Sure.
But you'll spend periods of time where you're just doing the stuff that you're really good at and that you love doing. And those days are like very fulfilling and make you feel really good. And then
My problem is as soon as I'm really good at something, that's not what I love to do. I actually like the learning and the creating something new in some new space that I've never been in before.
Right.
That's why I was a consultant for so long because
Gotcha.
That's my sweet spot. But
After it's done frustrating the hell out of you, that means you don't enjoy it anymore.
pretty much, in all seriousness. Like, and so Vaughn and I went to lunch today, and this is kind of one of those things. Like, so I've been effectively writing functionality for the same app for 10+ years now. It's not fun anymore. They come to me and they're like, hey, we need a report. 4 hours later, okay, here's your report. Oh, we need the app to do this function. Okay, 2 days later, here's that function. Like, there's nothing in that realm. There's nothing new for me. There's nothing exciting for me. I'm not learning anything anymore. I learned all the hard math that comes with my job, my specific job, 10 plus years ago. And after that, it's just writing the code it's the business logic.
Yeah.
When we click this button, we want to do this, this, and this. Okay, give me an hour and I'll have that for you. So it's just not fun anymore for me.
What are we going to do about that?
Working on some changes.
All right.
And I'm going to go ahead and call myself out.
Okay.
I'm going to call myself out and put myself on the hotspot in that we started talking last October, November about the fact that I was working on an app for LHRL, and
then you ghosted me.
And then I ghosted you. Well, other than the fact that I showed up every single week to the...
You emotionally ghosted me on the app.
I emotionally ghosted you on the app.
Is there such thing as app ghosting?
And why is it that whenever Amanda's not here, we end up talking like way so much tech? And I think it's just because the three of us are nerds. But anyways, I tried to, I think in a lot of big project type things, there's the saying of, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time, right? And that's especially true on big programming projects, software development projects. And I tried to eat the elephant whole. And so I kind of overwhelmed myself and then just got demotivated because I was trying to take on everything at once. And so I've had time to step back, and I've been trying to figure out where to jump in for about the last 6 weeks, like how to get started again, how not to take on the whole thing, but just where is the first bite. And so I figured that out probably about a week or so ago, and I've been working pretty hard and heavy on stuff, and I don't know when it's going to be ready. I don't know when we're going to have a thing. I don't know when I'm going to have a thing to give Beefcake that he can look at and be like, holy shit, that's a thing. But I'm working on it, and I'm talking to you every day about it. And as long as I'm talking about it, then I'm thinking about it, and I'm working on it.
I love it.
It's when I quit talking about it.
My path has not wavered one way or the other. I'm getting a goddamn app somehow. And I think that if I haven't proven that by the route that I'm going at this point in time, I've already invested a significant amount of time and money into an app that doesn't exist. And so at some point it will exist. I just don't have control over when that is. And if you can help speed that along, that'll be wonderful. And if not, we'll work around that too.
But I want to go back to like what you were saying about not being challenged. You know, you're doing this thing and you're doing that, and I have days like that. But then I'll have weeks like I'm having right now where I'm just like on cloud nine and just love what I'm doing. Well, you know what I mean? And I was thinking really hard about it, and I think it's just like being the hero. You like being the guy that knows that can do the thing that needs to be done.
That's 100% true. Because I was just going to call you out and say, because what you're doing is you're setting up servers right now, which is not what we are paid to do, but it's something that you and I are capable of doing right now. And you're 100%. I was going to say like that wouldn't be interesting to me, but if all of a sudden somebody was like, "Holy crap, we've got $500,000 riding on getting these servers set up,"
and nobody knows how to set up.
And I'll be like, "Well, shit, I know how to do that. Let me just go in." And I would absolutely be excited about doing that because I'd get to be the hero. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So I think it's important to pay attention to that kind of stuff and go, well, it's not really about the computer and technical stuff. It's about feeling like I'm contributing to something bigger. You know what I mean? Or what you're doing is important.
And so I think for me in my role, the thing that I have always struggled with, especially in the last 10 years in the role that I've been in, is the thing that takes me 5 minutes to do. People are like, "Holy crap, I can't believe you made it do that." And the thing I spend 2 weeks on, they're like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Time. Yeah.
Like it's about time. Like,
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. Like, right.
That's where
and so that's the frustrating part for me. It's not, there's no direct correlation to how much effort I put into it and how much enjoyment they get out of it.
Well, you take my business, the Gardener's Shadow, and you lump that in with how much time I spend on Lift Heavy Run Long, and it's absurdly imbalanced because I get something out of the Lift Heavy Run Long with the feeling of like watching people grow and watching people feel good because of something that, I'm a part of. And then the Gardener's Shadow doesn't really provide me with any of that. So I'm constantly searching for that, even if it's at my own expense.
Sure.
I have to have that. And that's part of being an extrovert. It's just needing that external praise, and motivation. And Amanda's the opposite of that. She's an introvert who doesn't need any of that, wasn't raised with a lot of that. And, I'm just opposite. I'm completely different in that regard. If I don't get that, then I'll just wither and die. So remember that.
By the way, speaking of you needing praise, she misses you too.
Oh, that's so sweet. See there?
What else is going on over there? I'm not looking at it anymore.
Because you're not allowed to.
Chris Miller said you've got a bromosexual relationship going on.
I don't know. You guys, I'm really worried that I said something stupid before when we were live.
They can't hear you. It wouldn't make any difference.
They did hear. Well, I don't know.
What about congratulations to Chris and Sam Miller for fostering a child?
That's such an awesome thing.
Man, isn't it?
Like I
am such a turd in comparison to any human that would be willing to do that.
Chris posted that they had been accepted to do that, which is awesome. And then I read this really cool article about a family like in LA that they unintentionally it was basically like they were the last option for a baby, so they like had to foster. And then, like, after 2 years
say, that's
of
kidnapping, Brian. You unintentionally get a child.
Unwillingly.
After, like, 2 years of fostering this kid and the birth parents not stepping up, like, they adopted this kid and, like, what a happy family they are and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's so awesome that there are people out there that are willing to, for a minute or for a lifetime, step into another kid's life and try and make their life whole.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, and not one to be understated.
Yeah. My brother and his wife, Sarah, my sister-in-law, she's in Florida with my mom and Amanda right now, and that's what they signed up for, a special needs child from, I don't know if they signed up for one overseas. They got one from overseas, from China. And, they sign up for that. And here I am. I try to avoid all responsibility at all costs, at all times, all of it.
Your kids don't watch the podcast, right?
No, they don't watch the podcast.
Don't even want your own kids, but.
And there's people that are willing to dedicate their whole lives to someone else.
Well, and I'm going to say shout out to the step parents who indirectly are doing that as well.
Amanda being the number one of those, like the number one.
Yeah, because they step into that role, take the responsibility on of somebody else's kid and raising them like their own. And
that's a very hard thing to do.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's one thing if you're fostering a kid, but if you're stepping into a role where you're the step parent, I mean, there are so many things that they have to deal with that you can't even imagine. There's just so much going on, depending on the situation, that they just, I can't imagine how they do it.
My relationship with my kids right now is largely in part to Amanda's relationship with the kids. If it wasn't as strong as it was, I can't imagine that I would have the relationship with them, because that's who they look to. That's the stability.
Yeah.
I think I've told you before.
You're just the oldest child that Amanda has.
I'm just a guy hanging around. They don't even really know why I'm here. I think I've told you the story that I get a text from Amanda, or a phone call from Amanda, and she says, "Hey, when you get home, will you get some Neosporin and wrap Andy's finger in a bandage? She cut it." And I said, "I am home. I'm in the kitchen." She said, "Well, she's texting me at work." I said, "Geez, I'm 2 doors. I'm 40 feet away from her, and she doesn't come to me. She goes texting to Amanda." So that's just kind of a metaphor for how things go in our house. We got a few things to talk about.
Let's talk.
One of which is Facebook. Is Facebook sucking really bad as far as you get a notification that says Brian Swanson commented on your post in Lift Heavy Run Long Community, and you click on it, it just goes to Lift Heavy Run Long Community.
So I have noticed for a long time in groups that have pinned messages, there is a struggle when you click on the notification to go to a specific message in that group, that it wants to go to the pinned message first instead of actually going to the message. But it's never a...
He's unpinning.
I'm unpinning.
It's never a situation where, like, Brian Swanson commented on a post. It's where you would get a thing that said Brian Swanson made a new post in Lift Heavy Run Long.
No, I don't ever look. I don't look at those. I only look at so and so mentioned you in a comment, and that's where I see that for sure. Like, so I'll click on those. Are really the only ones.
And it's not there.
Well, you have to scroll to find it.
Yeah.
But who wants to scroll through? I mean, those things sometimes don't even update. You can spend an hour trying to find the person that said, nice job.
That is a first world and awesome community problem that you've got to scroll so long to find the actual comment that you were looking for.
Sometimes I just give up and I'm like,
I have a history of doing exactly that. You're right. You're exactly right. But it's a nuisance nonetheless.
I'm messing with you because Facebook should do better. Don't get me wrong, but
4 years ago, I would have said I would do anything for a community big enough for it to be a pain in the ass for me to find where somebody.
Listen, there's over 10,000 people in that group. And
that group, which group is that?
The Lift Heavy Run Long
community that you need to be a part of.
What group? What else would I talk about?
I just wanted you to say that.
Also, the podcast is the 103rd ranked podcast in the fitness.
How about that
category?
And I think that's a big deal. That and for me, like how many podcasts out there are there in like fitness or whatever category you're referring to? And so that's like for me, like the thing is, it's like going to a 5K. And it's like, well, I finished in the top half of all runners, or I finished in the top 25% of all runners, and I finished in the top 30% of my age group, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm going to take that where I can get it. So 103rd on Apple is a big deal, and I don't even care the category. I don't even care the category.
In the United States. I'm going to blow your mind right now.
Do it.
It's like 30 in Iceland.
We'll
Wait,
jump
is that
up
the one
to
that Trump's trying to buy? No, he's trying to buy Greenland.
I think that's Denmark.
We'll jump up to like number
Denmark
12 in Nova Scotia or something like that. We'll be number 2
Wasn't there one that we were like number? Oh, it was
Kenya.
Kenya, we were like number 2.
We're still like in the top 10 in Kenya.
We do it in Kenya.
Is somebody translating our podcast in Kenyan?
I don't know. If you're in Kenya listening to this,
they've seen me run.
Send us a shout out.
They're modeling my running style.
Leave a review.
If you are listening in Kenya and you can get us to number 1, we will fly there and do an episode in Kenya.
Vaughn can't leave the country until he pays his hospital bill.
As long as we don't fly through Canada, he's fine.
You probably have to stop in Canada.
No-fly zone. Vaughn has narrowed his directions. He can only go east, south, and west.
Exactly.
There is
Africa is southeast.
There is no northward Vaughn.
It's Game of Thrones. There's a big ice wall. He can't cross the wall.
Have y'all eaten the Popeyes chicken sandwich?
I have not.
No, I just had a conversation with Katie about this.
That's all I hear about.
I told her, I said, I don't know if you've checked Twitter or Facebook lately, but apparently Chick-fil-A is now the prim and proper, and Popeyes is like the stanky leg of deliciousness when it comes to chicken sandwiches.
Drew Womack called me today,
I saw his face, or
like he had
Twitter
witnessed
post.
an accident. He was so full of just excitement. I mean, he could hardly contain himself. Yeah.
He's been talking about it on Twitter for like
for 3 days. And he's mad at himself for not getting 2. He wants to go back.
But the crazy thing is how many people are talking about they're going to Popeyes to try and get one, and they're out of them.
No way.
Like for weeks.
Probably because they didn't expect 50 million people to be wanting them.
Well, and I'm, let's once again take the Trump tactic. I'm pretty sure like 99% of the people tweeting about it are actually bots put out by Russian Popeye franchise owners.
Probably so. Well,
Is that
let
a
me-
for real thing? You think that they're probably a significant amount of...
Not related to Popeyes, but related to American politics. There are definitely a lot of bots out there.
Politics for sure.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Is it just the spicy chicken sandwich, or is
It's
it
both.
Both of them.
Yeah.
But I've heard the spicy chicken sandwich is
'Cause
fire.
but-
Womack says that it's the spicy chicken sandwich. You ask for an extra pickle and you ask for extra sauce.
I saw that on
here's-
Twitter.
He said it was so good that he approached the counter to let the person know that it was one of the best meals he had ever eaten.
Listen, the problem
I mean, he was jacked up about this sandwich, man.
I want to let Vaughn say his point. I'm sorry.
the problem is the sauce makes it spicy, and I probably won't eat the sauce because it's probably mayonnaise.
Oh. Yeah.
So the thing that cracks me up is like Womack, sometime in the last 2 or 3 days, he posted on Facebook. He's like, I know y'all are going to think this is just a fast food food account, like a fast food account or something like that. Because apparently he's like posted several times here lately about
he takes his
different-
fast food seriously.
Yeah, about a different food that he's beaten. You know, that's, you know, I love Womack for the fact that he is willing to evangelize for the things that he believes in, and you know, if food's what's making his spirit rise, then he's going to talk about it. And
I don't know. I don't know about Popeyes, man. I don't really eat a lot of fast food. I eat Chick-fil-A.
Because of Womack specifically, like I've seen all of the internet stuff about the Popeyes thing, but because Womack's on board, I'm going to go out of my way.
I want to go
and-
try
you
it.
got to.
I want to go. I have to go try the
almost,
sandwich.
because I drove by one.
Yeah.
If I had left my house like 20 minutes earlier, I would have gone in and gotten 3 of them and brought them here tonight, so that we
Oh,
could have
man,
eaten them on
that
it.
would've been
Dude,
good.
you know there are people that review fast food on YouTube and have like millions of subscribers.
Let me
Like
read
they
this
open-
review that Lynn posted about the Chick-fil-A Popeyes review.
Oh yeah,
Lynn Aaron?
I put that on.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
thing I put on Twitter earlier today.
It
I
said,
didn't see it.
let me break it down for the people who has had a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich but hasn't had the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Chick-fil-A sandwich tastes like it was cooked by a white woman named Sarah who grew up around black people. The flavor is definitely there, but Sarah cares about your cholesterol, so she cares about the breading and grease ratio. Popeye's sandwich tastes like it was cooked by an older black lady named Lucille that serves on the usher board and has 12 grandkids that call her Medea. Medea don't give a fuck about your cholesterol because God's in control. I hope this helps you decide which sandwich is better for you.
That's fantastic.
If you drive by Popeyes again and don't buy a sandwich, Womack will show up at your door and
I
beat you to
believe that.
death.
I'm scared, and I believe it.
I don't know. I don't even know that I've ever even eaten at a Popeyes.
Popeyes is good. Don't forget the chicken sandwich for a second. Popeyes is good.
Okay.
But it's
But
I don't know
Chick-fil-A
how
is
to
really
not
good.
say-
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
Chick-fil-A sandwiches
it's the
are
only fast
really
food
really
restaurant
good.
I'll eat at. Really?
Okay.
Did I tell you about the time I ate about 16 Chick-fil-A sandwiches in 48 hours?
No, but that sounds glorious.
It was glorious. I had a bunch of kids coming over to spend the night.
You
And
know,
so I just went and bought 20. I thought there's 5 kids. Each of them are probably going to want to eat 4 times. So I just went and bought 20 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and I put them on the kitchen table. It was like, when y'all get hungry, there they are. I'll be in my room watching TV. Well, they didn't eat anything. So I just had these sandwiches sitting on the...
And you couldn't let them go to waste.
Well, yeah, and you're watching TV, and it's like, I'll take another
Just
sandwich.
casually walk. That's what I do that
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, it's there's a sandwich there. You might as well grab one
after
while
seeing-
you're going to the restroom.
after
back.
seeing how you did at the eating challenge with Gavin, I'm just not sure I buy into the fact that you ate that many.
Oh yeah, you're something, aren't you? You're just not going to let that go.
We're not sure that you could actually eat 16 sandwiches.
Yeah, now I've got to prove that, huh?
I love, 45 minutes into that challenge, he looked at Gavin and he's like, "You're not even going to let me have this, are you?" He's like, "This was my one thing. This was my one
This is
thing."
all I have going for me. You have so much more.
Hey, mad props to him, dude, for being like, no way, you're going down.
Dude, it wasn't 45 minutes into it. It was about 12. It was about 12 to 15 minutes into it. That was a long time of sitting there like, okay, this is over now. Do I really have to sit here for another 45 minutes or just can I go home and throw up and go to bed? Because that's what I want to do.
Anyways, So those were Chick-fil-A sandwiches?
Yes.
16 of them?
Yeah. Probably 16. I don't know. I'm not saying it was the impressive amount just as much as if you have a bag of Chick-fil-A sandwiches, you can
just gonna keep
grab
going.
one and go.
So I'll tell you, like, it would be nothing for me to go order a large, whatever the largest Chick-fil-A nugget tray is, and that would be gone in 24 hours.
I could devour
Just skip the
it.
party and take it home.
I could just put that on a TV tray in front of me on a Saturday morning and just turn on TV, and I'd just be, those are my bonbons. I'm just popping bonbons all day long.
Well, I could eat that whole tray for sure.
I could. So 16 sandwiches in the grand scheme of things is really not a lot when I think about like that whole nugget tray. Like that's probably, I'm guessing that's 10 sandwiches worth of chicken or so. And you said over 24 hours. So
48 hours.
48
But
hours.
I mean,
this is over 2
you
days.
got to eat the bread too if you're eating the sandwich. That makes a big
And
difference.
there's a pickle on there, dude.
And the
don't forget
bread,
the
that's
pickle.
what makes the bread taste so good.
The pickle?
Yeah.
No, somebody on Twitter said, so there's this epic little, I don't know, you're talking about Drew Womack. I think he started it, and then Greg Perry chimed in, and then I chimed in, and then a couple other people chimed in, and it's grown to this whole Popeyes Chick-fil-A Twitter storm. But this guy said, I just ordered a Chick-fil-A sandwich, no pickle, with no pickle. And I was like, no pickle? Like, why would you get Chick-fil-A with no pickle on your sandwich? It's ridiculous. And he was like, and he goes into this tirade about how horrible pickles are. He's like, pickles ruin everything. Pickles ruin the sandwich. They ruin the.
Show
blah,
me
blah, blah.
on the doll where the pickle hurt you.
And then I
Womack says the pickle is extra special on Popeyes
Because it's thicker.
He made it clear it's not a Vlasic. It's like a real, some kind of homegrown something or other. There's a rattling going on in this damn audio that's driving me crazy. Maybe it's not even
still
in
me.
it's making me nuts.
It's you again.
Okay,
It's still
we got some CrossFit stuff to talk about. I saw this. I thought it was ridiculous. Top CrossFit Games athlete Alex Smith announces that he is gay. Is that even still a headline anymore? Like, do people still even come out?
Yeah, there's still so many people that give a fuck about that and want to hate
Is
on
there
people
really?
for it. Yeah, so like I'm gonna tell you, if you are a person of any level of celebrity, I do feel like that you have some duty to
He said duty.
embrace like your any of the things that make you different from the rest of the world, because there are so many people out there that don't have your celebrity, that feel that thing, and so they don't have that thing to make them feel special. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
and so they're kind of ostracized because of the thing that that you are also. I don't know. I'm not saying everybody should have to get up on the rooftop and shout like, "I'm weird. I like D&D. I like whatever their thing is." But still, there is enough of a stigma to being gay in the world, unfortunately, that I'm going to salute him or applaud him for stepping up and saying it.
Well, let me explain my view as I'm sort of readjusting it at the same time. I wasn't referring to him coming out as much as I was referring to
in general,
people caring, like that it would be, oh my God, someone is gay.
And I don't think in general you get the same reaction anymore that, oh, okay, he's gay. I think the majority of the world's going to be like, oh, he's gay. But there's going to be some guy that might have been a hater. And there's also going to be some guy that might have been still in the closet and wasn't sure he should come out.
Well, I think from that angle, it's wonderful, and I'm sure that it's liberating for the person who has held that in for whatever reason.
If you change one person's opinion, then it's worth it.
Yeah, I was speaking more in terms, and I realized how selfish and ignorant I sounded when I said that, because I was speaking more in terms from the general public than I was from the person who was coming out.
Yeah, 99% of us, I think, don't care anymore. That's my 2 cents.
I like to believe that.
But you're fired for bringing it up.
Yep. That's definitely not our kind of topic, but it was a headline. So I went there. Let's see.
Alex Smith, is that who you said?
No, I don't even know who that
Alex
is.
Smith. He finished, I think it said like 7th or something in the games. Way on up there.
Well, wow.
As of like 2 hours ago, the CrossFit CEO resigned. Did y'all see that?
I did see that.
That is not Greg Glassman.
That is not Greg
It is
Glassman.
not. Who knew?
So
I did not know that.
I saw it, and I was just searching for CrossFit news for something to talk about on here, because we always have.
Just show up.
And we never talk about fitness.
I thought it would be nice to maybe, go through an article that I'm not going to read. I'm just going to look at the headline, and it said CrossFit CEO resigned 3 minutes ago. I was like, whoa, this is like, I found this.
Yeah.
This is news.
Fresh news.
I found news. This is great, because usually I would share something like that. Somebody would be like, that happened in 2013. Like, okay. And then not 12 seconds later, I see where Scott Hollis had posted it in the Lift Heavy Run Long community. Wow. He is not happy about the state of affairs of CrossFit right now.
He's not.
No.
I feel like we should have him on just so he can go on an hour-long rant.
Just rant.
There were a lot of things in that. I didn't realize that guy was the CEO of CrossFit.
He took over in 2017 from Glassman. He was resigning his position as of September 1st, so it's not even immediate. So that makes me feel like it's not as dissenting as I originally thought it was.
But I read in that article that he was the guy that decided there wasn't going to be at regionals anymore.
The CEO or Glassman?
No, the CEO. It was his idea to cut regionals and to do all these different things that CrossFit's doing now that everybody's hating on, And that's why I was excited, because
so to correct you, what the article says is the major changes under his leadership. Doesn't say he made the choice. And so that's a gray area. Like,
that's what it says right there, which could mean
under his leadership, whether that
that's
means,
not the only article written about it. He's saying that he read somewhere that it was.
No, he's reading this. Is it Morning Chalk Up? That's
is.
what I was reading.
Okay.
And the only reason why I was sure is because of the way he worded it is like exactly like what I'm reading right now in the Morning Chalk Up. And creation of official licensed CrossFit events, multi-year deal with Wit Fitness, rule reversal allowing athletes to wear a shoe preference of their choice, new CrossFit.com, change direction of CrossFit's YouTube content, CrossFit's public exodus from Facebook and Instagram. See, that stuff under his leadership, but like the Facebook and Instagram thing, wasn't it Glassman that like came out
so
publicly
you're saying
about
he's a scapegoat?
No.
Now they're going to so now what's going to happen is they're fired that guy, blamed him for all the stupid stuff. Now we're going to get regionals back.
One, he didn't get fired. He's resigned.
Well,
Two, it's talking about the thing.
Resigned, quote unquote, under his leadership.
Basically, all this is saying is here's the shit that's happened since he took over from Glassman.
AKA, it's all his fault. Everything's going to go back to normal now. Quit freaking out.
Good luck with that.
I don't think Glassman's trying to put anything off on anybody in any kind of way. I think he's doing the opposite of that. I think he's just like, I don't want this, and so he doesn't have to have it.
And see, that's kind of where I'm going with what I was trying to say. Like under his leadership, as opposed to it being his choice, this is very much a situation where he's the CEO, but he's not the major shareholder, so he doesn't actually have the ultimate decision-making power. If he says, I think we should do this, this, and this, and Glassman says, fuck you, we're going to go do this instead, then what? Then, okay, I'm going to resign because you're not taking any of my advice. And oh, by the way, here's all the shit you didn't take my advice for over the last 2 years that I think is terrible.
Oh, okay. I see your perspective now.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
So we're not getting regionals back.
I think that's totally
Rich
Glassman.
Froning's not going to be the new CEO.
Holy shit, that would be awesome.
I think it's going 100% in the way that I don't even see how people are that. Greg Glassman doesn't owe anyone dick.
Anything.
At all.
Anything.
And whatever you've paid in, whatever your affiliation or association is with CrossFit, that is on a as goes basis. And once that's done, it's done. I don't see how anybody can even be like, oh, he's running my whatever. It's not yours, it's his.
And that's the thing, like, I'm going to make like a huge leap that will probably get me death threats in the mail, but like Glassman is to CrossFit what Jobs was to Apple. Like he is like this evil fucking genius that nobody can understand. But if you just sit back and let it happen, it's probably going to work out. And it's pissing everybody off along the way. But at some point, people are going to be like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Well, listen, man, I'm going to say this. Everybody was saying the games are going to be stupid this year. And I
hear from more people that they were best.
I watched the entire...
The 5 of you that watched it.
I heard a lot of good things about it.
That's not even the point about how many people watched it.
I'm just messing with
you. I haven't even given a shit about it the last 3 years, and I watched the entire thing this year and thoroughly enjoyed every bit of it.
I think
it seems like a lot of people did, even people that are on the Burn Glassman wagon.
Jeff Brightwell did a fantastic job. I watched
going back to the whole like sponsorship deal, and then like even Jeff's deal specifically, like his situation, like. I think Glassman was initially if we build it, they will come, and I don't care what it costs. This is what I want this event to look like. Let's make it happen. And for 4, 5, 10 years, that's what he did. He made it bigger and better every single time. But now he's realizing that CrossFit HQ being in control of so many of the different aspects of it is actually limiting the sport as a whole and the games as a whole.
That makes sense.
And so they are stepping out. They want to get rid of their naming sponsor, Reebok. They want to give up all of regionals so that they can have these sanctionals that are run by other people, because they're going to be done better than what
if you just let it happen organically.
If you let it happen organically, as opposed to saying this is how it needs to happen, it's always going to happen exactly the way you want it to happen. And this is is it Eisenhower or Patton? There's a saying. I don't think Eisenhower was a general, but I think it's Patton. Anyways, instead of telling people, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it's instead of telling people how to do something, tell them what you want done and let them surprise you by how they do it. And that is ultimately like Glassman is he's gotten to that point now that, we've reached this critical mass with CrossFit that he's just going to step back and be like, you know what? I want the fittest athlete in the world to win the games. How do we get there? Okay, so you 25 groups are going to run an event around the world, and whoever shows up to your event and wins gets to come to my games. And if you're the best in your country, then you get to come to my games. And you may not make it past the first day, but you get to come. You're not limited in any other way.
And there were people there struggling, and I loved seeing that. I watched this one lady who was wearing a full burqa. Like, isn't that what they're called? Is that what they're called?
Yep,
I have no idea. What's a burqa?
You're talking about I believe it's the Muslim females wear it because they're not allowed to show so much of their skin.
I thought you were talking about a beekeeper
or whatever. I don't know that her face was covered, but
it covers everything but like their face.
Yeah, she was climbing a rope and she fell. She was struggling to begin with, but she fell from the very top of the rope all the way down.
She had to do CrossFit fully covered up?
No, that's her religious preference, is to not show any more skin. Like, they're allowed to show like a certain amount of their hands and arms and their face.
Yeah, but she did the CrossFit regional.
She was at the game. She was at the games.
The CrossFit games.
Wow. And I know she had head guards, like stuff on her head. It was noticeable. I don't know how much it was, but I do know. She climbed that rope and fell, and like from the video I was watching, you heard her go, "Ah!" Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I like felt so bad for her, No, she wasn't. My point is, not all these people that are in this thing, they get to go to the CrossFit
But she
games.
was the fittest in whatever country she worked out in. And so she made it to the games. She was the fittest female in whatever country.
But there were I noticed several athletes like that were really struggling. Like when they would go out for the run, they were just like barely walking, in that second event where they had to wear the weight vest and run the 2 miles.
I think CrossFit is changing. I think it is ultimately changing for the better. And I think that Glassman is a fucking genius, and we'll all see it in a year or two.
That's a good take, Brian. I like it.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't make any difference what Glassman is. If he comes across to be a genius, that's cool. And if he comes across to be a big doofus, he gave us CrossFit, and that's cool too.
Yeah, I mean, but how many weeks or months ago was it, that Vaughn was talking about, the whole idea like, oh, I run a CrossFit gym, but all we do is run. You run a CrossFit gym, and all you guys do is deadlift, and I run a CrossFit gym, and we actually do high intensity interval training. Like
we do yoga.
We can do yoga. Like it doesn't like we can call it CrossFit. So he has also given us the ability to change the definition of CrossFit by allowing us to affiliate. And so we can make CrossFit whatever we want, and the CrossFit games are going to somewhat define where CrossFit goes, but I think even the games are being ultimately steered by what they're seeing in the world as far as workouts and stuff like that. Like the fact that they invited that obstacle course guy.
Hunter McIntyre?
Yeah, that's not going and doing an obstacle course is not part of CrossFit. Now,
well, interestingly enough,
functional fitness will make you better at obstacle courses.
Yeah.
Functional fitness makes you better at obstacle courses, but we don't do obstacle courses as part of CrossFit.
And it's interesting that he didn't even make it very far, number one, but I think he got invited because he was talking so much shit. I mean, like he was saying, like, I deserve to be there. I'm better than all those people, and I can go win. And in fact,
he was saying that before he got invited?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No, I don't know about before he got invited, but I saw an interview before the games where he was saying, I'm on that level. I deserve to be there. I can beat these guys, can do this and that. And he was super cocky about it, which is totally fine. But like he didn't make it past the first or second workout. Yeah.
Speaking of defining CrossFit and what it is, I saw an article about the sprinting that was done in the games and how they were some people were complaining about, not really being prepared for sprints, and how that's, Castro has always been good at getting people what
he finds their goats.
Yep. And gives it to them. And that's CrossFit. That's what, and he was he unapologetically said, you just got to be prepared for whatever gets thrown at you. That's what this
unknown
is.
And unknowable. That is part of CrossFit's definition.
And people were kind of raising a stink about it. But I also read it as sprints were I saw the class sprinting this morning, and I wondered if that was indicative of like there being more sprints in CrossFit workouts, because it does seem like there's so many gyms that are on, what's the thing that we use? Comp train, that people kind of follow the same patterns. Mm-hmm. So will sprinting be something that's
well, and that's the funny thing. Like, so you look at HQ's workouts, and HQ
I haven't looked at
very much follows their L1 methodology for creating training. So if you've been through the L1 classes, the HQ workouts follow that methodology. The majority of gyms follow the methodology of people are paying me to come in here for an hour a day. I need to give them an hour worth of work. Now, sometimes that's more or less work. Sometimes there's more or less rest. But in general, I'm giving them an hour worth of work. But then you look at the people that are going to the games, and those guys aren't working out an hour a day. They're the ones that are working out
all day,
6 or 8 times a day. And they might be resting an hour, 90 minutes. They might be resting 15 minutes in between workout, but they're doing a lot of stuff all day long. And so you just got to, I don't know, like, what is CrossFit?
Have you seen the video that goes around? I see it pop up on Reddit every now and then of the CrossFit games, and I forget who the men are that are sprinting down the field, but they're hauling ass down the field. But the caption is always, look at that cameraman. And the cameraman is like ahead of all of them the entire time, holding his camera like just hauling ass. And he's like way in front of everybody, but his camera's just right there filming the whole thing. It's hilarious. And they're balling too, man. They're running.
What sport is it?
CrossFit.
It's CrossFit.
But that's the thing that's always cracked me up about CrossFit. It's like we have the fittest fans in the world. Like, you don't have sedentary people typically showing up to the CrossFit games and wanting to watch the events and stuff like that. They may be watching at home, but they're not going to the events. Where every other sport, most of the people at the sport couldn't play on that level, couldn't even do like some of the workouts, let alone,
that's what makes it a lot of fun, man. It's fun to like compare yourself to other people.
Rich Froning and them.
Yeah.
Well, just last week I saw something about, it was football, but it was a referee, a umpire who was hauling ass down the field with the receiver, making sure that they got to run with them to make sure they cross the line, make sure where the fumble is, blah, blah, blah. And this guy's just steady outrunning this dude, just booking it to the end zone, because those guys got to be fit and quick.
Right.
Well,
the NBA referees, you watch the basketball referees, and all those guys are jacked and fit.
Well, I've heard that those are basketball players. Like if you want to have a basketball career, but you're just not quite good enough, or it just didn't work out, those are the kinds of things you do is go referee. I mean, those
you know the game well.
The game. Those referees are just as fit. Just may not be as great of players or whatever.
Well, and not to be the dick, but that is my job on this podcast. But like,
it doesn't have to be your job.
In that moment where like you're talking about the CrossFit games,
let's make
like
that not your job.
Look at the cameraman. Like he hasn't done the rest of the workout. Right, like those guys just did a shit ton of lifting or double unders or rope climbs or whatever, and then all of a sudden, he is fast in that moment, and that makes him super fit. But he also didn't have to do the rest of the workout, and then still is in front of them.
Right.
So,
I agree.
And same thing with the refs. Like in that 10 or 15 seconds that they're outrunning the actual player on the field, they haven't been having to do all the other work that the player on the field did.
Right. He just gets to break out. He gets to choose when he's going to break out his one sprint. He knows it's there too. And don't think this guy wasn't running like, I didn't even notice that there was, 80,000 people watching me sprint down the field. And I had no clue there would be a camera watching me do this,
That's right.
Who'd have thought? It's just like you. If I do a workout and you're holding the camera, recording me, then you'll be with me step for step.
I would.
So,
but only because
you're the world's fittest cameraman for Lift Heavy Run Long.
Thanks for
You're the fittest cameraman in this organization, by far.
I appreciate it.
But I'm the only one that films himself working out.
Do you have to run in front of yourself?
It's hard, man. I haven't figured it out.
There is a learning curve to filming yourself.
I don't know how these people do it. Like I scroll through Instagram every day, and I'm like, I've asked people.
Yeah, you said, like, do these people just have a professional photographer following them around? I will legit
comment and go, who took that picture? Like, what? Like, what? You're in the middle of the woods by yourself, like, looking like a badass.
You're not by yourself, though.
And, like, who? But how does that work? Like, do you go, I got this one friend who takes
you just have like, it. I think your entourage grows with your celebrity. So, like, you're typically not going to go out into the woods and run by yourself, right?
True,
right?
but
okay,
also,
no. But hold on. So, like, you're not going to go run by yourself. So, even if it's just you and me, when you go for a run, you're gonna, and it's like, oh, hey, will you take my picture real quick?
I don't think I've ever done that.
No, you wouldn't. But I'm saying if you were that Instagram model type person, then you'd be like, hey, take my picture real quick. Of me running down this trail. Like, I need you to do like a 5-second clip video of me running down this trail.
Listen, as Big Thirsty dissects what it's like to be an internet.
I know. Have you seen the? I've seen the memes go around of like the Instagram model's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And all they do is.
Exactly.
They're like constantly taking.
They're
pictures.
taking like 1,000 pictures, and one of them gets posted that day. Like, that's exactly what they're doing. But they get to sleep with that hot ass girl at the end of the day, and so they're still winning,
Y'all need to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast that has the guy that just crossed the entire continent of something. Someplace
so
that's
specific.
really cold.
Wow,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Was it a big continent?
It was a big continent. It was a lot of land. It was like 3,000 miles. Maybe 10,000, maybe 1,000. But it was a whole bunch, and he had
maybe
to pull
two.
a 350-pound sled. Nobody had ever done it
He
before.
went across Antarctica probably with if it's cold.
Antarctica sounds like that was probably it. Is that it? Close to the pole?
One of them.
One of the poles?
Arctic Circle and Antarctica. Those are the two poles.
Just go listen to it. It's really, Amanda and I listened to it. It was really good.
Vaughn's doing the internet research right now.
He said they dropped him off. He started pulling his sled, and he called his wife within an hour crying and saying, I can't do this. Like, this was a terrible idea. And the name of the project was like the undoable or the impossible or something like that. And he said that this is the impossible. Like, there's just no way I can do it. He said that it was so cold. He said you could take a pot of boiling water and throw it out of the tent.
Wow.
And it would freeze before it hit the ground.
So that's a typical thing in a Arctic environment, because the water is already near vapor at boiling. When you throw it into the air, it vaporizes easily, and so it freezes quicker, even though it's hot, if that makes any sense, because it's closer to already being vaporized. Anyways, that's a little bit of science for you.
Oh, it's still cold.
I think it also had something to do with it being negative 80 degrees.
It doesn't have to be that cold for it to happen, but yeah. That's the thing.
How do you exist in this life? Somebody lives with you all the time?
No, she travels as much as possible,
Everybody
actually.
has a pooper.
God almighty. Anyways, my point was he was taking pictures with his camera, and Joe Rogan was asking him about the end of the flat earthers, who were like saying, like, what did the hole look like on the other side when you got there? And, that he wasn't really by himself, because who took that video? He was like, I had a pole and I set my camera on a video and I did check-ins.
That's all I want to know.
It's all conspiracy
just tell me
stuff.
that.
Like, it's all, people calling him out.
That's funny.
But I feel like I hurt people's feelings when I asked that question. And I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. I genuinely want to know who took that picture.
Do you just want to be a better picture taker?
Yeah, and their pictures are so good.
You do a good job of it, though.
But my pictures suck.
Well, I mean, that's the old photographer's trick, is you gotta take to have more good pictures, you gotta take more bad pictures. You just gotta take like hundreds and thousands of pictures to get the one good one.
Well, here's the
and you got to keep wearing black so you look slender, and you got to take the pictures from way up here
at an angle.
Yeah, that way you look like 40 pounds lighter.
Gets rid of all the chins and stuff like
the
that.
best advice that I got, or
And
the
the
best
knee pop.
answer I got,
I
was
just take a
from,
picture of the top of my head, like a bald spot.
Alex Macklin said, what you do is you hire a photographer to go out with you for a day and take a whole bunch of pictures.
And then you just post them over here and pretend
you just use those pictures over and over again, because nobody remembers. You have a whole bunch of them.
You take
that's brilliant. I was like,
take like 30 outfits with you. You go to like 6 different spots and have pictures taken, and you got pictures.
But who
for the
can
year.
afford to hire a photographer to go do that?
You just go to Glamour Shots, man.
That's what I should
Get
do.
a package.
Is go
Get a
do,
package
just start
deal.
posting glamour shots.
You should go to Glamour Shots. Just spend a day there. Find out what it would cost, probably $500, and just wear every costume that they have.
That would be so awesome.
But just make sure they put
and
like
just
a green
post a
screen
calendar
behind.
every day. Every day, post a year-long calendar of just you in these cheesy.
But you should also have them do a green screen behind you so that you can Photoshop yourself into different scenes.
In whatever environment you want. That's brilliant.
Like in the gym.
Because then you could be like wearing your like running outfit, and you'd be like, like
Ooh, that was a
mid-run.
tough marathon I just ran.
Like that picture of that lady. Wasn't there a lady that you were like there? That lady photoshopped herself into that picture of that gymnasium.
I swear to God, somebody posted. I think it was on our group.
It's in our group.
I was looking
that
at the
lady
picture
is
and
not,
I was like,
she is not at that gymnasium.
you can see you can see her outline. She was like, dead serious. Like, what a workout. That was crazy. And I was like, you photoshopped yourself into that gym.
Oh man, that's great. That is so great. All right, we're out of time.
Oh man.
What?
Yes, we are.
No.
Yeah, we are.
You're wrong.
R2.
Absolutely. Oh, that's only because you started early.
It's 8:08. We have 2 minutes if you have something important to talk about. Something nice.
He doesn't have anything nice to say.
Amanda,
Anything? Would you like to contradict anything that was said on here?
All right.
I think I've already done all that. I guess we're done.
Lift Heavy Run Long number 159, I believe, is in the
that's
books.
right.